So we have Arabia here with Ballista Noobs versus Karambite or Karambite me actually, but I'll leave it at that, I guess. For now, not to mess with the game scene here. So Arabia, I don't know whose home map it was. It didn't say so in the recording section. But we're in the 3rd division here, so one step up from the previous cast, so that was the 4th. And let's just start by introducing the players and civilizations here. So let's go with Ballista Noobs first. That would be Seaways Junior's team over here. And Seaways Junior in the pocket position. If I remember correctly, he has peaked at the 1300s range. The highest rank. He's playing his Lithuanian's pocket, so not wasting the good civs here. The Ballista Noobs. Back gold, quite close to TC as well. Perfect. You just wall off your left section, and this one is kind of off limits. Back stone as well could be useful. Back berries even better. Hard to obstruct Seaways Junior's early start here. Also quite a decently wallable base. This gold could be an issue for the later game. These golds, actually, because their secondary golds are quite close to the hills, so that's something that Seaways Junior will need to think about securing with castles or town centers later on as the game moves on, but he'll have an ample gold supply in the backways base for now anyway. So that's going to carry him well into the castle age. So, but Lithuanians, relics bonus up to +4 attack for their knights by collecting relics could come into play here. That's a free attack boost for the Lithuanians, knights and lighties. Tyranny on the right hand side here is with the Mayans, classic flank civ. Their archers they start at 10% cheaper in the feudal age, but they become 20% and 30% cheaper as we move through the castle and imperial ages. They also have Eagle Warriors Access being a vessel civilization, so there's an archer's counter in that, and they have a unique tech for the Eagle Warriors as well from their castle, giving the Eagle Warriors plus 40 hit points. That's a total of 100 hit points for the Eagle Warriors, so not to be messed with as a raiding unit late game. So it will be likely be opening archers anyway. And finally on the left hand side we have Anuri on this side with the Japanese. Good flank civ as well. They have fully upgraded arbalests come the late game. They save 50 wood every time they drop a resources drop off point, so Japanese are one of the teams where even milling the hunt wherever the deer might be, maybe a bit far forward, but placing another mill in the Dark Age could be justified. And if you don't, you've saved yourself 50 wood for your barracks or archers production in the feudal age. Oh, saves the villagers just last moment there, and yeah. It's good to go there. Villager production seems pretty consistent, with at least for Ballista Noobs here, with Tyranny just slightly behind, maybe stressed out with the border. No, gone into Loom here quite early, of course. It's Mayans, of course he goes into Loom first. He starts at pop capped, but in that case should still be roughly equal to the others with no idle time whatsoever, so something must have happened at Tyranny's side here. That's it for Ballista Noobs. Back gold for Tyranny as well, and even a back gold for Anuri here, so they all have pretty decent bases in terms of resources. What could be tough though, which goes for both teams, is that the distance between the pocket and the flanks is pretty large. So the flanks very closely together, but the pockets just miles apart, so that could call for some trouble in terms of judging when and where to take the fights, especially for the pocket who needs to be on both sides simultaneously at times. But now for Karambite me, let's go to their pocket. Dukezilla with the slabs here. And also a solid pocket civ, but falling behind to Lithuanians in terms of that slabs. They don't have access to Paladin. They have the Boyar in the unique unit from the castle, which is kind of a substitute for Paladin. But it's still going to be tough for them to match Lithuanians, especially if the Lithuanians are able to get to relics. Pushing in some deer here for some extra food income though. I like that. That saves some wood for, or that saves some the farm's investment for later, making it easier to get up the production buildings and whatever else you need to spend your wood on. Means you could also potentially delay all farms until you reach the feudal age, where you preferably want to place as few as possible before Horse Caller can be researched. And downside here, Joe Schmo on the flank for Dugsilla here with the Portuguese. I did receive a buff recently. Their black technologies are researched 20% faster, is it? Yes, and all units cost 20% less gold, so whatever gold unit Portuguese go for, whether it be siege, monks, archers, anything, it's going to be cheaper for them. Leaving one hole in the wall here though, I hope that's being plugged before the Japanese men-at-arms can come forward here. Looks like both are going for the men-at-arms opening here, but Joe Schmo behind with... Actually, may not be going into the men-at-arms here. May have mixed up things here, we'll see. But Joe Schmo pretty low on the food, might not be able to afford the men-at-arms upgrade. Good, almost good walls here to keep the rush out, but Anuri isn't patrolling either, so the action... the villagers don't take any hits until now. So the walls are actually complete in the towards the opposing flank here. Some scouting issues for Anuri though. Not Anuri, I mean Joe Schmo obviously, sorry about that. Joe Schmo didn't find the opposing flank, so that's a bit of a setback in scouting here. Seems to have steady course towards the pocket here, and these militia are just not going to be able to do any damage unless Joe Schmo somehow finds the enemy here. Man-at-arms, however, Anuri, being Japanese, having them attack faster as well, that's disastrous already for Joe Schmo. Losing a villager and being idled on the woodland here. Good early damage for Anuri here, going straight into the double ranges. Hello, the check. Hey, hello. Now for the final player on the right hand side here, we have Vikings for cluttering the walling up here and going to have some extensive wallings to do here, but I can see why they're doing it as well, because all of the golds aside from this one are quite forward and this one is already quite far away. So, but Vikings will be going for the archers as well. Well, I'll check. I started with your game, Rashef, just because I know some of your players are GMT +7, so I wanted to do your game first. But now I'll do this one, then one from Division 2, and then finally Norwegian Bastards vs Royal Flushers last. Oh, Men-at-Arms still doing work here for Anuri. And idling the bears completely for Joe Schmo here. Dugsilla trying to help out with the scout, loses the scout as well, or one scout anyway, they probably have more on the field. Cluttering than the extensive walling here. This is where Dugsilla, or rather Seaways Junior scouts should be, I think. But they're looking for some damage potential on the opposing pocket as well, which is a good idea here. Some very extensive walling to be done for Dugsilla here as well. Got the front line covered though, I like that. That's going to force the enemy scouts to run the long way around. But look at this section here. Very extensive walls. Sees the back here though, that needs to be covered. And yeah, between the woodlands. Might be able to get them out, but here comes Seaways Junior with some 7 scouts forward now to deal some serious damage on Duxilla's wood economy. Yeah, it's going to be quite a few villagers down, and Joe Schmo with the men-at-arms forward of Anuri as well is struggling. So now, however, Joe Schmo with some men-at-arms in Anuri's base, but will be maybe be cleaned up by Anuri's archers here. Fletching just kicked in, and there's some help to be had from... never mind, it's actually kind of a 2v1 here. Ah, good cleanup by the Japanese archers. 6, 7 scouts. Quick walls now in place for Dugsilla. Did take some losses still, I think, but 36 villagers, no joke. Should be considering that cast age click very soon, but they haven't actually gone to gold yet, so will still be a while to go for Dugsilla. Maybe I'm thinking about matching the scouts numbers of Seabase Jr. here. Seabase at 35 villagers, but has been at gold, so Seabase Jr. will be clicking up any moment with Lithuanians now. And with the opposing pocket not in the cast age, that means that the Lithuanians should have an easier time accessing the relics. Let's see. Not too good scouting of the relics just yet though, but that's one for later in the game, I'd assume. Blacksmith stable for Seabase Jr. No market, so doesn't share scouting intelligence with the teammates here. Seabase Jr. 20% up now though, and we'll be reaching that cast age in a very decent time, probably around 20-21 minutes here. Scouts still doing work, getting some pickoffs of Dugsilla, but the slabs economy, man, the farmers work faster, so even if you lose a few villagers with slabs, it's no biggie, but there's not enough army here for Dugsilla to hold it off. Dugsilla just now going to gold and will be significantly delayed against the opposing pocket in terms of up times here. Andri now in the forward with the feudal age archers again as well will be matched by roughly the same number of Portuguese archers, but still it will be 10 against 9. This should be a close one. Looks like Andri could be getting the better trade here. Pulls back towards the hill as well to limit or to potentially benefit from the hill advantage here. Yeah, that's a good call. Economy for both Andri and Joshmo miles away from that castle age click though, so we won't be seeing crossbows anytime soon from this side. Tyranny, however, the Mayans player, is on the way to the cast stage with a very sizable chunk of archers here. Should be able to hold their own against the Vikings here, even though Kulos wearing Dandy has a decent number of archers here as well. Upgrades the same on both sides. Ideally, you want some knights from the pocket to mix in here as well to take an even better engagement for your own archers, but all in all, great trade for Tyranny here. One forward tower even from the Vikings players, so Kulos Dandy with a good idea to place a tower here to have a fallback point and to deny one wood line of Tyranny, but if they had a tower on the gold and the wood as well, then it would be perfect, but it's still a stone investment. We need to commit to stone to be able to go into more TCs at some point in the next stage. So questionable decision, but maybe buying them a little bit of an edge in the early game still. We had a scout run in on this side, so Seabase Jr. sacrificing the last of the scouts to maybe take out some more of Joshmo's number here. Joshmo 8 military, Dugsilla with only 3 on the way to the castle age now, whereas Tyranny and Andri with some significant numbers of archers here, and Seabase now starting to provide the knights. +1/+1, no relics collected yet. Potentially wanting to go for the raids on the opposing pocket again. So there's still an opening in the back here that Dugsilla fails to acknowledge. Should still be a point of entry for Seabase Jr. It might be exactly where they're headed as well. We'll see. Just don't try to break in, just use the opening in the back here, just take your chances on that still being open. Massive score lead for Ballista Noobs though, and here come the 4 or 5 knights to get in time. Just quick wall here, Dugsilla. Get the walls up! Don't go all the way to the back, just... Yeah. Alright, so knights are going to get in here for Seabase Jr. Could also deny this TC if Seaways Jr. sees it in time. This is disastrous. Duxila had all the chance in the world to drop a couple of house foundations or anything here, and then they would be actually completely safe behind the walls. Great quick walling though, but it's not going to be enough to keep all the knights out here, and here comes the flood of knights from Seaways Jr. We also have Anuri on the way to the Castle Age now, but still causing some mild discomfort in Joshmo's base here. Idling Joshmo again, staying close to range though here, and now trying to just break back out and probably hide away the archers so they can become crossbows. So we have more than 10 knights from Seaways Jr. in the middle now. Did not collect any relics, might be just playing the eco game here now. Here comes the monastery though, so all of a sudden these knights could become even more powerful. It's like a 1v1v1 on either side here now. No coordination between pocket and flanks here, but Tyranny is holding it on just nice. As well as Anuri actually not being able to break out in time, so Anuri will be losing numbers here. We'll be evening out here between Ballista Noobs and Karambite on this side. One huge issue though is the pocket situation here. Slabs and Lithuanians with equal upgrades here. I'm surprised not to see either of them go for that +2 armor yet. Seaways Jr. seems to have the better eco setup though, floating lots of food here and might need just a few more on gold to have a comfortable multiple stable knights production. Outnumbering Duxila by far here now, 19-9 total. I didn't argue it would be a mistake of Seaways Jr. to run out here, because this leaves Duxila with an option to wall this off. Sure, the damage has been done though. Duxila did get hit, but there's only a 5 builders difference between Duxila and Seaways Jr. here. Anuri has restacked upon numbers, even a forward range hit, Thambring and crossbow coming in here. No ballistics though. Alright, the knights find a way in again. There's one monk out that's probably going to get one conversion, but that will also be about it. Seaways Jr. still with... I would say he has the military lead, but it actually doesn't, but now he has the technology lead, so he has +1. We have +1 defense for Duxila, but +2 for Seaways Jr. here, so he could still take comfortable engagement and should do so before Duxila can get either the upgrades or more numbers out. So both sides, only one stable producing for Seaways Jr. now, but the monks are going to provide some extra attack potential for the knights as well, if some relics can be brought in. At least 3 relics scouted for Seaways Jr. here, so the potential is there. And it's actually impossible to see who will win this engagement, but right now it looks like Duxila will be wrecking here, because I don't think Duxila should have deleted those walls, because that actually looked like a great fight with so many of Seaways Jr.'s knights not being able to fight, but that fight would have been even better with some of the teammates' knights, sorry, some of the teammates' archers in the mix there. So Duxila, surprisingly enough, cleans up here with lesser upgrades, but more consistent army flow, obviously having the reinforcements right around the corner. Seaways Jr. now left with 7 military, but his flanks are doing great on either side here. Mayans, yeah, on the strong forward here. Kulotwering Danny with only 30 military against Turini's 44, and Anuri with the 30-ish against Joshmo's only 7 by now, even pushing with siege here. And sending a little bit of wood to the teammate there as well. 2 Mangonels pushing. This tower might go up, but that's just a very limited defensive help here. Here comes Duxila with the knights though. Will be dealing with the Mangonels here, most likely. Should be focusing the Mangonels anyway. But Anuri getting good trades here because Duxila just now got the +2. Imagine if Duxila had held on for just 5 more seconds there before engaging. The trades would have been better. George Malone lost the third range now, so only has two ranges to produce from here. Let's see the north side, Seaways Jr. and Tyranny now working together. Seaways still no relics, but probably in the process of collecting some. We saw him making monks, and the relic is closest one is just right there. Pilot Wayne Dandy seems to struggle in the 2v1 here and can't really expect help from Dugzilla, who is now only with 5 military. This time around it's Seaways Jr. with the healthier good economy it seems. We have double stable nice production from both, but Seaways Jr. outnumbering Dugzilla by at least 5 here now. Forward castle even from Tyranny here, and with the Imperial Age. Also, Imperial Age, that was probably someone reaching Castle Age then very late. But the GG is called. This game is going to Ballista Noobs. So, look back and forth there and seemed more evenly matched than the 4th division games we just saw. So that's nice to see. But in the end, it's Ballista Noobs winning this one with army domination over the opponent. Let's browse through the stats here and see the actual KDs and everything here before we move on to Division 2. Solid KD for Anuri on the flank there, 103 to 49, so very good ratio there. Seaways Jr. also with a positive one. Never got around to collecting relics, I think. Relic Gold 0 relics collected, yeah. So didn't really stress those, but went for the military numbers and eco game instead. And the food eco beating slabs here for Seaways Jr. actually. So I think it's a matter of good timing of the raids from Seaways Jr. to hit Dugzilla.